Opie is here, and his show starts now.
There you have it. You two walk on. That's how we start today. What's up, Craig Gass? How are you, buddy?
How you doing, Ope?
I'm doing good, I guess. This is just crazy.
Yeah,
this whole thing is crazy.
I walked off of a cruise this morning.
Yeah,
performing with Kiss.
Nice.
And Trump's president.
Yeah.
And everywhere I'm at, airports and baggage claim and on the subway here, everybody's talking about Trump, and it's nuts.
I saw the opposite as I was walking around today. I saw nobody talking. Paul, you're with me on that, right?
Well, I was on the train, and it was very, somber, like everybody was at a funeral.
And no one was talking, though. Everyone was keeping to themselves. It was really creepy how silent the city was today when I was walking around. It depends where you are, obviously, because New York City is a massive, Hillary zone.
Yeah,
massive.
I want to stop over at Trump Tower just to check it out.
It is unbelievable. It's a circus every day.
I know it has been. It's been a few weeks since I was here.
I think it's in lockdown now because now we're talking, he's the president.
Yeah.
So I think they have ramped up everything now.
Yeah,
and it will continue to be that way for the next 4 years.
It's going to be a nightmare because he's going to just try to live in Trump Tower.
His name's
he'll go down to the White House, but he's going to spend a lot of time up here. There's no doubt in my mind.
His name's on a lot of properties.
Yes.
So I feel like anyone who really dislikes him will try to do anything to
the properties.
Yeah, to the properties. I feel like.
Don't say that.
Yeah?
I might live in one of those fucking properties.
Yeah. Well. All right.
But then again, he owns, I don't know, like 100 buildings in New York alone, whatever.
Yeah.
But so yesterday I said that Hillary was going to win by a lot. But last week I did say, and I'm on the record, I go, you know what, I have a feeling that Trump might just do this thing. But then I pushed out yesterday, Craig Gass, when it mattered, and I was asked, or we were going around the room, and I said, Hillary's got this, and I think she's got it by a lot. So then I went home, and to watch the coverage, did you watch any of the coverage, or were you too busy on the Kiss cruise?
I was watching on the boat in my cabin. I had Fox News, I had MSNBC and BBC, so I was switching back and forth. So I was watching the coverage of whatever they were giving there.
Yeah. So. And to watch it just slowly change. Everyone on TV last night was just thinking, this is just routine. It's going to be Hillary. We'll just do our jobs here on TV today. And then you could just see the whole energy slowly but surely changing. Yeah. And then there was a point where you're like, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States.
Yeah. It was surreal because I get why people wanted him in. I get the idea that they just want to say, fuck you to the system.
Sure.
Which is what happened with Brexit. And a lot of the same shit. It was nationalism. Mm-hmm. The foreigners are fucking everything for us. I get that. It's just crazy because you blow up the system and you go, all right, so what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
We elected a guy that has no experience in politics.
And he told us 6 months ago he's got a big dick.
Yeah.
I mean, he told everyone I got a big dick, and 6 months later we said, all right, take over the world.
It's going to be, Mike Pence is going to be key to this whole thing, and whoever else he surrounds himself with. Because he admitted last night in his speech, like, look, all my enemies, I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Because he's going to have to learn a lot of stuff in a very short period of time.
I think it's going to be hilarious. I think his temperament is going to be hilarious for the next few years. Will he be using his Twitter page for the next 4 years?
I think at first he doesn't use his Twitter. But then one day something's going to happen and he's going to just go, give me my fucking phone.
Something in the middle of the night.
And then he's going to just start tweeting his ass off.
Yeah. Just his nicknames for everybody, Lion Ted and Crooked Hillary.
Yeah.
Is he going to do the same thing with world leaders?
I mean...
he has to get all new phones and everything now.
True. Yeah. That's the dream. I think we all want, if Trump's going to be president, and he is going to be president, you want him to be tweeting from the White House. Of course you do. Yeah. Who wouldn't want that? If you were entertained by that during the process, you want that to continue. And by the way, it's not hilarious, Craig Gass. If you walk around these hallways, oh my God. There was crying today.
Really?
People are crying on this particular floor.
Really?
Oh, yeah. People are very, very upset in this building.
Are there any big Trump supporters that are shoving in anybody's faces on this floor? Or?
That would be our booker, Roland Campos.
Roland is a Trump
There's one
fan?
more, too.
Dennis
Really?
Falcone.
Yeah.
Dennis Falcone,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, Dennis Falcone likes to Trump. Roland likes to Trump. Just so you know, I didn't like either one, and that's the truth.
I mean, for me, either one could have been, whatever. But what's weird to me was the idea that I don't trust Hillary while Trump is lying right to your face when he says something and says, I never said that a day later. And that's weird to me. If you don't trust one person, but one guy's... I get why they put him in. I get the idea behind it. But it's funny how much you were willing to let slide to get him in.
Of course.
And there's a lot that they let slide.
You absolutely had to put blinders on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
But that's the level of frustration in this country.
And I get that.
People feel like, their money's not going a long way. Their jobs suck. And they're like, look, I don't care about all the stuff I'm hearing about this guy. I believe he can make significant change in this country. Yes, Iraq.
And it wasn't just that. The Democrats lost the Senate.
And
So they have the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office. So they're going to get anything they want done in the next 4 years.
I hope so. I hope shit gets moving.
And the Supreme Court will be theirs.
Yeah, he has 2 picks, I think.
Yeah, so, the Democrats just got crushed last night.
Although I do have to say that the idea that nothing has been going along, it's their game now. So it's no president has ever directly affected my life.
That's where I'm at.
So,
I've had money. I haven't had money. I've been all over the fucking ball field in my life, and not one president has made my life significantly better.
True.
But you say that, and the phone's going to be lit. How can you fucking say that? But where I stand, that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, people get really worked up about it. But
I would assume that Trump would be very good for my business.
Agreed. For stand-up comedy, for radio.
Right. For saving your money, stocks, all that crap. But I'm not sitting here excited today. I feel bad for the women that really were looking at Hillary as, the first female president. They were going out yesterday in my area. They were voting. They were saving their stickers. This was supposed to be a huge moment for them.
Yeah.
And now, Hillary's done. This is her career now. There's nothing left for her to do. And I don't know when you get someone that's going to get close to the presidency again that's a female.
Are they saying that the wild card was first-time voters? Is that what it was? Was that the wild card? What was it that made the shift in this?
I think the Obama people needed to step up a little more,
and they didn't.
I don't know. I think they needed more of the Obama voters, the Obama supporters, to step up. I think that's where where one of the problems were.
But were there people voting that had never voted before? Because I had heard in the beginning,
absolutely,
when they were sending absentee ballots, that Latinos were voting in much bigger numbers than they expected.
Right. It was a very high voter turnout.
Yeah. And she won the popular vote, by the way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
So
by how much?
I forgot.
Right,
couple 100,000 so far.
Yeah, she ended up with 59,679, and he had 59,472.
Wow!
So she's got a couple 100,000 more votes. That's how close this thing was as far as the whole country goes. But then they split it up with states and the electoral college and all that, and it's a whole different story. So let me get Stunt Brain on the phone. He was actually at the Trump party last night. One of our friends, Mikey.
Yeah, good morning, afternoon, whatever the hell it is. Long day.
Oh my God, I don't think anyone slept. I think a lot of people stayed up really late. I bailed around. I think I bailed around 1:00.
I walked out of the hotel at 3.
At 3 in the morning.
Right after. Yeah.
How close were you to Trump?
Like 20 feet.
Wow.
I was right there in the VIP section, and it was crazy, but it was great. Yeah.
When you first went there, because I know people that went to the other side, where Hillary, well, she was never officially there, but where her party was going on at the Javits Center. And they said the mood went from everyone's partying, getting drinks, having a good time, joking, and then it just switched to a funeral mode where people are like, holy fuck, is this happening for real? And then everyone's breaking down and crying and leaving, and no one expected this, right, Mike?
Nobody expected it, and quite the opposite was the case at Trump. There was expectation and hope, And then as each state got called, it got more and more of a buzz in the room.
Right.
And they were chanting, "Make the call, make the call." It was crazy.
I saw that on Fox News.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And boy, were we wrong there, Stunt Brain.
So wrong. I was wrong on the election. I was wrong on the Senate. Although I think I was close to a 50-50 split, and it turned out, 52-48 with the runoff in Louisiana, if you assume a Republican. But it was, and the GOP picked up a couple of governorships.
Wow.
So none of the down ballot stuff was bad because of Trump. That's amazing.
So, Stunt Brain, you thought that Trump wasn't going to win either?
I based it solely on Nate Silver at 538 and his polling data. He had 49 out of 50 states in 2008, 50 out of 50 in 2012. But it looks like all of the polling data they got was by calling people with landlines. And those people really weren't the voters this time. It was cell phone voters. It was younger people getting out. And you were talking about Latinos. Trump did better with Latinos than Mitt Romney. Trump, the guy who insulted Mexicans, did better with Latinos. Just amazing.
That's a weird stat. That's a tough one to believe.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
That's a really tough one to believe.
It's out there. The New York Times broke it down. They've got a breakdown on a lot of it. And even with black voters, Trump did better with black voters than Mitt Romney did. I don't think that's that big of a surprise, but he's still.
They weren't believing what Obama was selling in the end.
No, and they didn't come out in the numbers. They stayed home, and I think that was the big difference.
Right. When I texted you last night, I was texting Stump Rain a little bit and some other people, and I go, "What's your feel?" And he goes, "Dude, the New York Times is already calling this for Trump." What time was that at? Because I went, "Oh my God."
That was like 9:45 last night.
9:45. The New York Times already said this is going to be Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they the first to call it?
That's pretty early, but
them and I think it was the AP that called it earlier.
The AP did so after 1 o'clock, and that's when Podesta then came out at 2 o'clock and said, "Hey, we're going to keep fighting, but go home and take a nap."
Well, that was his excuse for why Hillary wasn't going to show up in front of her supporters, and people are giving her a nice beating over that today. But he had to say something like that because she went there. Well, she wasn't there, but she was going to go there to give her acceptance speech. It was going to be an amazing party. During the show yesterday, Stunt Brain gave me a bulletin that basically said that the fireworks display was canceled. Mm-hmm. Now we know
during the show.
Yeah, around this time yesterday. Wow, a couple hours, whatever. Yeah. I wonder.
We should have known then.
I wonder if she was getting word like this is going to be extremely close, man. So maybe you should blow off the fireworks. You're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, we should have known then. We should have picked up on that. That was a gigantic hint. But do you know what they had planned? You know the Javits Center and that giant glass ceiling?
Yeah.
They had planned to have a glass ceiling shatter. Like a special effect that they had built and put in. So they had to cancel that whole thing. I would love to get my hands on the original.
Oh, my God. Someone's got to pay for that. By the way, the shattering glass bit we were going to do, you still got to pay for that. I'm sorry, but...
just amazing.
You signed the contract. The fine print, whether we do it or not, you still got to pay us for it.
As a comedian, I can relate to plans not going exactly the way you wanted to. I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Wow. And the whole place just turned around from having a huge party like we got this to, oh, my God, what's going on here? And then it was getting more and more obvious that it was going to be Trump's. So,
and have you followed Twitter with the hashtag #NotMyPresident?
A little bit, yeah. I checked out Twitter a bit today.
Yeah. So these people, the people who got pissed off when Trump said he may not accept the results, have already scored the giant hashtag #NotMyPresident.
Right.
They're denying him, which I think is funny.
Do you find it weird that everyone is just like rallying around Trump? I know that's what we do in this country, but it's still very strange after such an ugly campaign. You had Barack Obama doing it. You had Hillary doing it. The Bushes were doing it.
Obama's got to do it. He has to do it because the transition of power in America is the most respected thing about this country around the world.
But we're we're living in a time where there's more disrespect than any other time in our history. People are openly disrespecting the president at his State of the Union speech when someone yelled out, "You're a liar."
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a breakdown of respect for the highest office in the land.
That's why it's very uncomfortable for me to check this stuff out. I understand this is what we do in the country, but we also know the players and that they absolutely do not like each other and don't believe. You know, Barack doesn't believe in Trump. Hillary Clinton doesn't believe in Trump. The Bushes fucking hate Trump, but they're all playing their part because that's what you do in America. It's a little strange.
And if you're part of that president's club now, so there are expectations there of what you have to do.
Yeah.
So you got Trump is now in that president's club, and he's got to be able to communicate with Obama and vice versa.
Yeah.
But there's some funny stuff going to happen here. First of all, do you know Trump has to fill 4,000 jobs just in his staff?
Wow.
Has he announced any potential cabinet?
No,
Well,
but he showed there was a whole bunch of people on the dais there with him when he was doing his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
That you have a feeling some of these people are going to get some credible positions.
Oh,
in
of
cabinet.
course.
I heard Sarah Palin might have a gig there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got Newt, you got
Christie, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, you got to take care of those guys.
I don't think Christie can pass a Senate confirmation hearing.
Yeah.
But so you maybe give him something that doesn't require it. But Giuliani, maybe Attorney General. Newt, maybe Secretary of State. Palin, make her Secretary of the Interior. Nothing she can really screw up badly.
Omarosa.
And it's
Omarosa, yeah. What about Omarosa?
oh my God, how funny would that be? Make her. Who knows?
Right.
But I think the Supreme Court's going to be the big deal. And my short list is Mike Lee and Ted Cruz. And I think you might see some real interesting appointments pretty quickly.
Wait, Ted Cruz?
Ted Cruz for the Supreme Court?
Yeah, that helps two ways. Ted Cruz is the smartest constitutional lawyer. He argued 9 cases in front of the Supreme Court previously, and I think he won 6 or 7 of them. So he's a guy that knows it inside out, and that would also get the most disliked man in the Senate out and let them put another Republican in there.
Do you think he wants the gig?
Who wouldn't want a lifetime appointment?
Right. That is this is just incredible.
It's weird that his own party turned against him.
Right.
When shit really hit the fan, and now he's got it. I mean, it's interesting. It's fascinating to watch.
They said that a lot of people voted for Trump because of the whole Supreme Court thing in the end, right? Stump Brain.
I did. That's why I voted for him, because I was not a Trump guy.
Right.
And I don't want Hillary Clinton changing the Supreme Court, and somebody's going to reverse the Heller decision, and then none of us have handguns.
Let me tell you about Stunt Brain not being a Trump guy. So he sends me a picture last night, and he's wearing the red hat, Make America Great Again, and he's hanging out with Joe Piscopo.
What?
Boy, did you change your tune quickly.
I was in the pit. I got all the trinkets and shiny objects last night.
Oh, you can wait to put the red hat on.
Is Piscopo
and join the cult?
Is Piscopo a guy who gets recognized a lot now, or
yeah, he's
still?
Yeah, he's very recognizable.
Yeah.
Especially in that crowd. Yeah, they love him.
He makes sure that you know that you recognize him.
Really?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like,
What's his move?
Hey, I'm Joe Piscopo.
I think his move is he does his shitty Frank Sinatra impression, and then you're like, wait, I think that's the guy from SNL.
Loudly?
Yes.
He's just walking around.
Oh, I like Piscopo. I do like you, Joe. Come on in and see you soon. What else about the Trump headquarters last night?
it was really crazy, the amount of counterterrorism cops that were around the place. Right after they finished the speech, the congratulations and we're accepting speech, they had the whole place in lockdown, making sure Trump and Pence got out before anybody else could leave. And I thought that was weird, but I guess that's protocol. So it was. Now
he's the guy.
He's the man.
You know, they pumped up all his security, and Hillary's somewhere looking for an Uber to drive her home.
He's the guy.
It was rough to watch those people at the Javits Center. And you were saying how they're crying there. They were in tears at the Javits Center last night.
I think it was CNN did a thing where they were talking about the celebrities that were there at the Javits Center.
Yeah.
And they showed this thing about Cher walking in. She looked up at the board and saw that Trump was winning. She turned around and walked right out.
They have video of that?
CNN said they had it. I don't know if they actually showed it at that point.
We just had a video on the screen of people looking like
miserable.
Like they're going to jump off.
They were crying and hugging.
This was a big deal for a lot of women, and you feel it in New York City as you walk around. People are just not talking today.
Yeah, it was quiet. It was really quiet today in the city. It felt very uncomfortable.
And we had so much energy yesterday, remember? The city was alive, and then today it's really kind of strange because this is an extremely democratic city.
Did you see the school out in California where the kids got mad and they walked out of class? They were so mad. It was a high school.
Right.
Well, are you just going to leave class because there's a president you don't like? And they're just standing outside. You know, if I'm leaving school, I'm going to go party. I'm not going to stand outside and just wait.
Oh, stunt brain. When we were coming up, we left school because we were pissed off about the lunch program. So, of course, they would walk out on something like that.
Yeah, but it was California, too.
Yeah.
But amazing stuff. And now here's my 2020 prediction, because we're already going there, right?
Kanye?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Kanye
said he's going to run for 2020.
Right.
Maybe, but I'll bet you might see Michelle Obama run for the Senate in 2018, and then just like Barack, 2 years into it, she's running for president.
Interesting.
They love her. She was the closer, but, face it, nobody closed on this one. Michigan killed him. Michigan stabbed him.
You think people at the White House are walking by Biden and saying, thanks for nothing, buddy? Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, Biden would have done it. Biden would have done that.
And then Bernie Sanders.
Oh, he's pissed.
Yeah.
He's really pissed.
But he should have hung in there. He knew this country was ready for something very, very different.
And after they sold him out and it came out in WikiLeaks, then he still goes out and campaigns for her. I still can't wrap my head around that.
Right.
Well, what can you do at that point? I mean, at that point, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, but in the polls in a general election, they had Bernie Sanders beating Trump, right?
Yeah.
Stump brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, did you see Maddow losing her mind again last night?
No, what happened?
When I was watching it, they just looked really somber and bummed out. But no, what did she do?
It's on the Blaze. There's a couple of times she's like grumbling and grunting and said something about that bitch. And then
she said that bitch on camera?
Well, it's off camera, but you can hear it.
Who was she saying that bitch?
I'm not sure on this one, but she went after the Libertarians because she's pissed the Libertarians would not endorse Hillary when they knew they weren't going to win.
Right.
The third clip in the story, she tears into the Libertarians.
Wow.
She was almost in tears again.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were in shock on the TV last night, so a lot of people broke down.
Stuff.
Good stuff.
I didn't think Bernie got the attention he deserved. He was getting massive crowds at his rallies, but not getting that kind of attention that...
they didn't take him seriously.
They didn't take him seriously, the media. They should have given him the... Yeah. I thought they should have... I don't know if I would have voted for him, but I thought he was getting these... he was filling stadiums and arenas everywhere.
He was pretty much doing what Trump was doing on the other side.
I was just going to say, he's doing exactly what Trump was doing.
I'm not sure if the crowds were as large as Trump, but they were very, very impressive in their own right, so...
He had 28,000 people down in Washington Square Park in a cold night. I was there that night. It was unreal.
Right.
The energy was amazing. So, I think he was 180 degrees away from Trump in philosophy, but the energy was identical.
I liked what Obama said today because, there are a lot of people panicking now because, this was split almost 50-50 across America. Yeah. And Obama's like, how he explained the presidency, he's like, hey, it's a relay race. I had the baton for a while, and you hope you give the next guy a little bit of a lead that he can work off. And now, I hand it off to Trump, and he's the next runner, and we'll see what happens. Basically saying that that's all the presidency is. You're part of a relay race and to continue the race.
And it's the people who decide who takes the baton. So you have to be diplomatic in passing it off.
Yeah. So,
and in 4 years, if Trump screws up, somebody else will get the gig. So, I thought Trump's speech was really good. I don't know if you listened to it. I thought it was fantastic.
I've only seen the highlights so far, but what I heard, he wasn't, motherfucking anyone, so that's a good sign.
How hilarious would that be, though? There were so many moments that he had to be presidential along the way where he motherfucked people.
Right.
Like when fights were breaking out at his rallies.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, man, this is going to be his moment to be able to say, we all got to work together. But instead he said, this is Bernie Sanders, that cocksucker.
But see, the system, Craig, is now going to calm Trump down. And there's a lot of people that absolutely voted for Trump because they want that same guy for the next 4 years in the White House, like we said earlier, tweeting in the middle of the night and all this. But you're not going to get that.
No.
And what happens if he doesn't build the wall? What happens then?
Well, that's the next step.
Freak out.
There's no that wall.
Right.
What goes into that? It will not be here in 4 years. It won't even be here in 8 years.
Right.
No,
I mean, and Mexico, the president of Mexico said, I told him to his face, we're not paying for it.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. We'll see if, he made a lot of campaign promises.
One of the best breakdowns on why Trump won was somebody said Donald Trump's fans took him seriously but not literally, and the media took him literally but not seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of makes it all crystallized, and you can see exactly how he got there.
Well, he won this because of rural America came out in droves.
Rural.
Those small counties had a lot of people step up and make sure they voted for Trump.
Those Amish guys voting in Pennsylvania, out in Bucks County and north of there, was crazy.
Amish people were voting for Trump? How did Amish people know about Trump?
We talked about it yesterday. They had car services taking them to and from because the polls were too far.
Yeah.
Really?
And he grabbed Pennsylvania. I think that's the first time a Republican has done that since 1988.
88.
Yeah, long time. And for Trump to get, it was like 81% of the white evangelical voters. That is massive. That's like never. He beat Romney on that by a lot. I think it's the biggest ever. So that may have pushed him over as well.
Yeah, truly unbelievable. And, it's a guy that used to call our radio show and we would just goof with. Kind of laugh at him, not with him, and now he's the president.
I love hearing him. You guys would bring up whoever would say anything relatively negative about him, and he would just shit on them. Like he could not handle even something mildly negative about him. And there was that one line about Jerry Seinfeld, where Seinfeld pulled out of one of his events because he was he disagreed with something that Trump said publicly. Trump says, "Let's be honest, he's not funny. Nobody thinks he's funny."
Yeah,
and his humor appeals to dumb people.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I got some old press clippings. I got to find it and put it on Instagram or something where he just trashes me and Anthony in the press.
I got a picture of me blowing him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that exists out there somewhere.
Not actually blowing him, right?
But I'm on my knees. It was me and Artie and John Melendez. We did a show in Atlantic City the weekend of September 11th. And the show turned into a benefit for first responders.
Yeah,
we raised a ton of money, and we had these giant water jugs. You know those water cooler jugs you put coins in?
Sure, yeah.
They were filled with 20s and hundreds for the first responders, tens of thousands of dollars in these water jugs. And after the show, we had press in our dressing room taking pictures of us, and they said, "Hey, Donald's coming in." And Donald showed up with a security, and somebody said, "Hey, why don't we get Donald to take a picture with the comedians?" "Oh, hey, get Donald to hold the money." And he's carrying these two big jugs full of money, and he's paralyzed in between all these comics. And I was hammered. And I said, "I got a picture for you. How about a shot of me blowing Donald for his money?" And I got down on my knees and simulated like I was blowing him. And there were dozens of pictures of this. If you Googled my name, Donald Trump, Craig Gass, you could find dozens.
Does it still come up?
You can't find it at all. It's off the internet. You used to be able to find dozens of copies of those images.
That's a little scary.
Yeah. There was at least 7 or 8 photographers there shooting, and they all put it on the internet, and they're all gone. You can't find them. Wow. And that is scary. You're right.
Hey, Stump Brain, Lionel has entered the studio. Lionel from LionelMedia.com.
Indeed.
You know Stunt Brain from The Blaze.
This is one of the best analyses I've heard. What was the one about taking him seriously versus literally?
Yeah,
Excellent.
That was a great line. That
I
was
like
a
that
great
a lot.
line.
You like that a lot. Do you know Lionel Stumpbrain?
I do, and I think we even ran into each other at the old Air America place.
Indeed.
Wow, that's a long time ago, right?
Yep.
In fact, yeah. And in fact, Rachel Maddow was one of our colleagues. She looked yesterday like beyond grief counseling, the worst. You can't even contain it.
Yeah.
People, watching Cleveland, Indian fans did not respond as sadly to winning the World Series.
To losing
the World Series.
Yes,
Right.
I'm sorry, or either one. As you can see, this is a very important aspect, this World Series in my life, and I got this correct.
Yeah.
But they're so. This is an indictment against this rancid, corrupt, pathetic sock puppet, Ted Baxter, spineless, ballless, gelding, impudent, feckless mainstream media, and CNN is the worst. Chris Cuomo should be, first of all, indicted for ignorance. Don Lemon, who one time on CNN actually said, you ready for this?
I'm ready, Lionel.
When they were doing, remember when they were talking about missing planes, MH370, they're
Sure.
great on missing planes. They don't know anything about anything else but a missing plane.
Oh, they love those
They're
stories.
on it.
Yeah.
And Don Lemon looked and said, do you think there's a possibility this plane could have been sucked up or involved in a black hole?
Say that.
Google it now. Google it as we speak. And
He
they
went
said-
black hole and not
they said,
aliens?
no, Don, you see, in our atmosphere, no. The answer is no.
Oh, boy.
I
would have accepted if he said laser beams, aliens, but you can't go black
No,
hole.
but this is
Because everyone knows the black hole would just take the whole planet.
not only that, in our atmosphere, we're not going to have one.
don't know
I'm
who
no
my-
Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I think that's pretty far-fetched.
We found the clip. We're just queuing it up. But go ahead, Lionel.
Oh,
Continue.
this is amazing. And
let's
I would have walked in and said, excuse me, Don, hi. Can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah. Can you give me that security pass you have? Yeah, can you give that to me? These men are going to escort you up because if you don't know that, what else don't you know? You damn fool.
All right, he's got the video queued up.
Do you got it? Is it queued up there, Paul?
And by the way, you're the only person who lost incriminating photos on the internet. This has never been done before. I'm going to say, I can't get rid of these. I was drunk. It was a party. It's 25 years ago. I was young. They're gone.
Yeah, when Trump started getting serious, I started putting on my Facebook page, if you can find this picture, I'll give you $100, and no one can find the picture.
Do you still have a copy of it?
I have a hard copy of it somewhere in storage.
There's a pun there somewhere.
But
But
there used to be dozens of images of it on Google image searches, and I can't find it at all.
All right, let me go to this Don Lemon clip, because I don't think I ever heard this one. I've heard some stupid stuff from CNN and the rest of them.
This is a good one.
All right, let's hear this one.
What if it was hijacking or terrorism or mechanical failure or pilot error? But what if it was something fully that we don't really understand? A lot of people have been asking about that, about black holes and on and on and on and all of these conspiracy theories. Let's look at this. Noah says, what else can you think about? Black hole, Bermuda Triangle. And then Deji says, just like the movie Lost. And of course, they're also referencing the Twilight Zone, which has a very similar plot.
This is a grown man.
That's what people are saying. I know it's preposterous, but
what does he make? What, a 1-2 mil a year? I mean,
he's actually quoting a tweet, though.
Yeah,
there.
so
I thought you were saying that he proposed the idea of a black hole. He said himself that's preposterous.
Yeah, so far, it's not that bad.
It is funny that he repeated a silly tweet.
But let me see. Let's see.
But if I said, look, there was a guy standing outside here urinating in his hand, and he said to me, maybe it's marshmallow. Could it be that? It's not my idea, but I'm repeating something that because I've got to fill in the time because I don't know anything.
Well, I mean, if that came on our show, I would have said, and this idiot thinks, right?
Yeah.
But I guess you can't do that on CNN. You got to be a little more polite.
No, because the idiot is the person asking the question.
All right, let's play a little more of this and see where it goes. It's a quick clip. We got like 20 seconds left. Go ahead, Paul.
plot. That's what people are saying. I know it's preposterous, but is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
Hey.
Is it preposterous?
All right, now I'm on your side, Lionel.
All right.
I just needed a few more seconds of the clip. I'm sorry, sir.
What does Mary say as a response?
He should be saying
We're not talking about Trump. We're talking about your missing pictures and Don Lemon from 25 years ago. But that's what makes this show so
I don't know much about black holes, but I do know this much. It's not going to just take the plane. It's going to take the entire fucking Earth, okay?
Right.
And pretty much our whole solar system, I think.
Again, within our atmosphere. Yeah.
I know that much about black holes. It's not just going to take a plane. Continue there, Paul. Let's get to the end of the clip. See what Mary says. I remember Mary.
Well,
they use her a lot when these planes disappeared.
Well, it is. A black hole is about, a small black hole would suck in our entire universe. So we know it's
That's what I said.
A small one. That means parenthetically, dumbass.
Yeah.
No. Why are we talking about this?
A small one would take out the whole universe.
Right. What you call, your average black hole. You got your large ones and you got your small ones. And certainly parts of Cleveland would be wiped out of existence as far as we know, Don.
Yeah.
I like that you keep shitting on Cleveland, Lionel.
It's funny. I don't know why. It's just that it always has this kind of a funny sound to it. Certain cities are funny.
Cleveland let Hillary down, man. LeBron James doesn't have the pull up there, I guess. Huh, Lionel?
Hillary let us down. Hillary is the most vile and corrupt felon who has ever... the Clinton Global Initiative, the CHI, the Clinton Health Assistance Initiative, and the Clinton Foundation make the Gambino crime family look like the Junior League. This is absolutely so corrupt.
How so? Simply, how so is it that it's corrupt?
Stumpray, were you laughing in there?
Yeah, I was. I love Lionel's analysis here.
No,
he's a little brainiac, isn't he? I love him.
Yeah, you need a thesaurus when he's in.
What's another word for thesaurus? Anyway.
So simply
Lionel's on fire. This is like Christmas for you today.
I love this because it's all corrupt. Everything is. Look, let me tell you why Donald Trump won. Because they're saying, I can't believe this. I'm so ashamed to be an American. Let me tell you something. If you're ashamed to be an American, leave. Okay? Because this is not the end of the republic. And we're not a democracy. Don't you love that? We're a democracy. No, Einstein, we're a republic. And we went to this thing called World War II, the Depression, Civil War. There were some other tough times. Well, this is the worst type of... I've never heard such awful talk. 1824, John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. What, are you kidding? That was brutal. Well, I don't read history. I don't know anything. I'm just reacting. And I go on Facebook, and I basically talk to my 12 friends because I don't know anything. And I internalize this. And all of a sudden, it's not about Hillary Clinton never ran. It was about Trump. Hillary Clinton never said anything. She's incoherent. There's no Democratic Party. Plus, she's gravely ill. This is the only woman who had seizures on television, and we're saying, well, she's overheated. Remember the balloon thing? You got the balloon shot?
Oh, I got the balloon. I made a whole video out of that.
This is a woman,
I made a Curb Your Enthusiasm video out of that. I really enjoyed doing that too.
Crowdsourcing.
But what do you mean she's gravely ill? Like I saw her speech today on TV. She looked healthy and sad. Bill Clinton had tears in his eyes. Everyone was sad.
He's gone too. Did you see him chewing his tongue? You see that one? Google that one. I don't know where he's yelling. Who ordered the veal cutlet? This guy's gone.
He's had a drop off in the last year or two, Lionel. I'm with you on that as well, but I haven't really seen the gravely ill Clinton.
Well, first of all,
seen some weird shit. I'm with you on that.
Okay, in 2012, according to Bill, when she had to book it out of the Benghazi hearings, because remember that, what difference does it make? She said, and he even said, hey, she fell down.
Right.
She had a concussion. She fell in the State Department. She was out for 6 months. She forgets. What are you asking her questions for? She's sick. This was then. Then she wears the funky black glasses. These are the Fresnel lenses, okay? This is for diplopia. Double vision. I know, break into that. So anyway, every neurologist...
It's not possible. It could be for anything else.
No.
These are only glasses used. Okay.
Every neurologist... Oh, you see those right there? The Don Was glasses?
Yeah, but the Don Was
I used to have those glasses. Those are like... Those are old
John Lennon.
Those are old school Revo sunglasses.
No. Those are called Zeiss 1. Look this one up there.
Yeah.
Zeiss 1 blue lenses for photosensitive triggers for epilepsy. This was after the 9/11, after she collapsed.
But Lionel, I got the blue eyes, and I I'm sensitive to sunlight.
No.
So when I'm on a beach, I need sunglasses some days because my eyes. Yeah. No. Okay.
She is seizing.
All right, then.
All right, so fine. Then we've got this guy. She has a handler. Have you seen the guy with the benzo pen? The biggest Secret Service guy.
I haven't seen a benzo pen on him.
Okay, he's got. And they said, oh no, it was a flashlight.
Yeah.
He's walking around as she's speaking, and she freaks out. Whenever they drop balloons, lights, he gets up, and you hear her as she's speaking. You hear him say, "It's okay, take it easy. We're gonna get." You can hear that too. You can hear her. So anyway,
all right. So
every neurologist, every nurse around the country say she's sick. They said, "No, she's not. Move along, little doggy." Okay, fine, terrific.
Well, when you say every neurologist, you're talking about a handful of neurologists. Or every single neurologist.
She was actually doing a neurological test on 9/11 with her doctor or nurse where she puts her thumbs out and squeezes them. What does it take for people to say, hey, out of concern.
What's her sickness, though? What's her gravely ill sickness?
Neurological, blood clot, who knows? But
they
that's
Parkinson's.
Well, look,
kind of Parkinson's, mate.
People have opined. All I know
We're diagnosing this woman that we've never seen in person.
But this is a woman that we want to. Do you know what this office does?
Let
to
it go.
People?
She had a tough night.
Lionel, but
sterling commentary.
Her career is done. Let it go.
The program.
She is through. And you know who's
toast.
royally toast?
Huh.
Chelsea.
You think Chelsea?
Because they said, hey, guess what, Chelsea? You know all the hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of dollars that we were taking in? It was all contingent upon me. Well, guess what? There ain't no me no more.
Right.
So, and you can kiss this goodbye.
Maybe Chelsea picks up the torch and becomes the first female president of the United States of America.
She might. She's very, very eloquent. She's in her own right.
Right.
But what did Hillary Clinton ever suggest? This is the woman who all of a sudden she was... First, last night, when you're there in front of all these people... And they're crying.
Yeah.
And they go from party to sit and shiver in like an hour. I've never seen anything like it.
That was the line.
It's so fast. So they're doing this. And she walks out, with a Mao. She's got the oven mitt clothes on, the Mao outfit. She wears those bunker gears. You'd think she would have said, look, I got to say something. I got to say something. These people need me. No, either she was A, sick, or too freaked out because she didn't imagine this could happen because she lives in the world of entitlement.
She was sad. Sadness
By
got the best
she
of her.
wants to be the president? It's like, look, I can't talk to the people about this war because I'm sad.
But she knew it was over, so she's thinking, oh my God, I need a few hours to regroup here and say something special for all the women out there and the little girls. They're looking up to me, so I need a good night's sleep, and then I'll get back to them. And then she had a pretty good speech today.
Has it ever happened, by the way, on the night of the election? Has anyone who's lost the election for president not given a concession speech?
They usually come out. Lionel's right about that, but
usually,
or what they do is
she was in such shock, though. I don't think she was.
Oh, I want her to be the president. President Clinton. They're attacking. Look, I'm a little bit, please. Bear with me. I'm a little sensitive about this. I'll get with you later. I don't know what was wrong with her.
See,
why she didn't do that, because it wasn't because they were waiting for recounts.
I think if she had more years left in her career, she would have showed up in front of those people, but she knew it was over, and that human emotion took over.
So go out with some class. Stand in front of everybody and say...
She did it today.
It was awful. Reading off of a prompter?
Lionel.
You don't even know what to say? Seriously... Thank you very much.
I agree with you. She should have showed up last night. But, if it's over, it's over. And then the human emotions take hold, and you're like, holy fuck. I spent 25 years trying to become president of the United States.
Speaking of human, or the H-U-M-A part of human.
Oh, you.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if she looks outside and says, but don't forget, I've got you. Whoa, hey, moms, listen. I talked to Tony. And we're getting back together again. Because you and I were contingent upon you taking me out. But I got to tell you something, Grams. I'm tired of this. You drug me into this. I was okay. I'm an Arab. Muslim Brotherhood. Now everybody knows about me. Oh, and before I forget, the optics. Who in the hell decides that when you're going to tell the world, hey, listen, Mom's not going to speak to you. She's a little under the weather.
Yeah.
They bring out Uncle Fester, John Podesta, when his name has been associated with the Podesta emails. Podesta emails, no! Bring out the security guard. Anybody. They have no sense of
Bring
optics.
out Bill.
Well, Bill is... okay, Bill, thanks. You were great then. Not anymore, Pops. Bill's walking around yelling, who ordered the veal cutlet? He doesn't know where he is.
Still a great speaker.
Was. And then there's Trump.
He just gave you some shade there.
There's Trump.
And you think he's that great?
Well, I didn't vote for him. I voted for me. I wrote my name in.
Did you really?
It is an absolute farce. Mike Pence is going to be calling the shots.
We know that.
Jesus Christ. No, Race Bannon is going to be calling the shots for the Supreme Court. This Bible thumper. Oh, no. Goodbye what's left of the Fourth Amendment.
So, Lionel, let me ask you this.
We're fucked either way.
So, obviously...
Through pores.
So you're not a Trump guy, but you hate Hillary more.
I think he is what this country needs. I'll tell you why I like him. Number one.
But you didn't vote for him.
If I could... No.
Okay.
But I like what he's doing. First of all, he's beholden to no one. He's beholden. He can go out there and say, hey, Reince Priebus, screw you. Paul Ryan, you too. Everybody, George Will and you paleo-conservatives, all you people, I did this on my own. While Hillary has everybody out there. Oh, did you love when she had Jay-Z on? The woman missed my glass ceiling. This woman who rails against Trump's misogyny.
Beyonce and Jay-Z. They didn't deliver either.
Oh, play something, Jay-Z.
Adele.
What about Springsteen and Bon Jovi? They didn't deliver Pennsylvania.
No, the thing is,
amazing to me.
People went to see a Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen concert with opening act Hillary Clinton. They couldn't care less about that.
They're like, Springsteen's going to be here with Bon Jovi. I'm there.
And by the way, do we have that moment of illiterate psychobabble, that mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging Robert De Niro, and that whatever that hostage video he gave?
I'm going to punch him in the mouth.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Did you realize this man's not acting? He's not acting.
Right.
There's one version, Robert De Niro, no matter what, the Fockers, Corleone. I'll tell you what, you think it, I'm going to punch you, you bullshit. Thank you. That put him right over the edge.
I thought it was a pretty funny video. Were you a fan of De Niro before that? Did that turn you on De Niro, or did you?
King of Comedy, Godfather, of course, King of Comedy.
King of Comedy was amazing.
Rupert Pupkin was phenomenal.
Amazing.
So you were a fan until he did that?
Until he became whatever
the same guy. He became the same guy in every movie.
Yeah.
But what Trump did was he came on, and what's the first thing he did? The first thing he did. Trump is like Rudy Giuliani. When Rudy was mayor, whether you like him or not, the first thing he said was, now what do people not like? I know, aggressive panhandling and squeegee people. That's what I'm going to address.
Right.
Maybe not earth-shattering, maybe not the biggest problem, but it's something that people can identify with. It's tenable, it's palpable, it's real, and he did it. So what does Trump do? He says, we got a problem, I'm going to build a wall. In fact, I had this crazy fantasy that one night Melania said to him, listen, I'm not going to do her accent, because an accent means somebody can speak a language you can't.
Yeah.
But, she came out, but she basically said to him, Donald, look, I don't know what you're doing. I don't want to go to Washington. Melania, what are you nuts? Look, my Q rating's in the shitter. Don't you understand this? The Apprentice is over. I don't know what to do. You think Alan Keyes wanted to win? Or Gary Bauer? Come on! I'm going to go out there. Listen, tell you what. I'm going to say something so ridiculous. I'm going to go out there and say I'm going to build a wall around Texas or some crazy idea. And I'm going to say that all Mexicans are rapists. Well, I'm not going to really say that. They're going to think I said that. Believe me, by tomorrow, it's over. He goes out there, he says, I'm going to build a wall. Ah! And Mexicans are criminals. Ah! And they love them. And he lives in this, and he lives in this inverse gravity. This world is parallel universe. So there's more.
I love that he doubled down, too. I had friends trying to explain to me, like, he didn't mean that they were rapists, and the next day they asked Donald, what did you mean when you said they were rapists? And he said, well, who's doing the raping?
Yeah.
That was his response.
And where's Billy Bush? Now listen, now think about this.
How about a job for the Bushies?
A lot of shrapnel in this election.
How about
a lot of shrapnel.
A little job for the Bushies.
Think about where we had, there was that issue of John Kennedy who may have had an affair with the German, whatever. We have a president. And just put this into context. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who basically makes his new national pastime grabbing pussy. We have a guy, imagine James Madison talking to Jefferson. He says, it's funny, we were in Philadelphia. Sally Hemings, Jefferson got her. Yeah, I used to grab her pussy. So what did Trump do? Trump taught us when they catch you, you basically say, It's 11 years old. I say, so what? It's not fair. Plus, I'm going to sue you.
Yeah.
And by the way, under California law, NBC may be liable because he never acknowledged. He never consented to that.
Right. Yeah.
Big time.
That's like a hidden.
Well, the women
that's like a hidden tape.
The women are asking for the lawsuit to go forward because they know he has to be deposed. They want it to happen. The women who he's saying he's going to sue are saying, "Let's do it. Let's move forward."
Well, that's
gonna complicate the presidency a little bit.
That's changed drastically. He says, "You know what? I'm sorry, but national security." Wait, I still stop. And I say, Donald Trump. Wait until you see his press conferences. When was the last time you ever said, honey, call the kids. There's going to be a press conference. This is great. Watch this. And the biggest threat, Opie, for your kids and your family and yours and everybody else is an existential threat of war with Russia. So what does he do? He basically tells Putin, I want to get,
let's be friends.
You know, that kind of thing.
But going back to the press conference, I said it before he came in here, I think we're going to get a very toned down Trump when he hits the White House. I really believe that.
You're not going to.
He's not going to be tweeting. Everyone thinks he's going to be tweeting from the White House in the middle of the night. He's not going to do that shit.
Oh, he definitely tweeted about the
tweets, Lionel. Come on.
He's not there with his fingers. He's got somebody.
With the beauty pageant girl? That was absolutely his tweet.
No, he's saying it. He's dictating.
I'm sure. It's his tweets. I mean, whether he texted it to some guy that officially, tweeted it or
But you know what's
whatever,
so great about this? You guys missed the point. He's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's got more energy than the Energizer Rabbit. By the way, the Energizer.
What is that about,
Speaking
though?
of which, what do you think?
The energy?
What are you getting at? What are you getting at?
Some say
cocaine.
What? Some say, he's out of shape.
She don't lie. She don't lie. Is that what you're saying?
Some say he's out of shape. He eats really
out of shape.
Poorly.
Did you see when he was down there in Mexico, back on the plane, and Hillary's passed out in the oven mitt? Pantsuit. She hasn't moved in weeks. She was so sick, she canceled fundraisers in California. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. And then he comes out.
Where's he getting that energy from, Lionel?
God, I don't know. And then he says, you blacks, I mean, everything he said, and the blacks said, well, okay, maybe.
Right.
And he was authentic, and he went to places. Hillary didn't go to Minnesota. She felt entitled.
She also blew off Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin, pardon me. Wisconsin, correct.
Yeah, Wisconsin was the one that she blew off, and in the end, really needed them to come through.
And the thing was, her whole thing was, listen, when are you going to elevate me to some apotheosis, be a deification, something? It's my time. I'm your evil queen. What are you putting me through this rigmarole for?
Yeah.
And Bernie came, that son of a Bernie, sold out.
Yeah, he didn't believe in himself.
He threw
it away.
Hey, listen, first thing we're going to do is, I can't do Bernie. We're not going to talk about those damn emails.
Just continue with your Joe Pesci impression.
It wasn't bad.
What? You're not going to talk. It's not the emails. It's what the emails are about. Hey, millennials, you've been screwed. You've been had. I was there in Brooklyn the day he had people crying. He said things that if anybody actually speaks to my politics, it was closer to Bernie's than anybody's.
Yeah.
He actually said something.
And he tapped out. He didn't believe in the end.
Absolutely, because somebody came and showed him pictures of his grandkids getting off a bus, showed him pictures of Vince Foster.
Something.
Or, this one meme I love was, they said, hey, Comey, which is another one. Hey, Comey, why'd you change your mind? He said, I came across my own suicide note in WikiLeaks. You don't think that's possible?
There's some dirty shit.
You don't think that
There's always been hints of it. There's always been rumors that they've been involved in people's disappearances.
Well, the joke is, when you become president, they show you the other angles from Dealey Plaza.
Right.
Bill Hicks.
Exactly.
It's a brilliant bit by Bill Hicks. We should play it at the break. And then it ends with any questions. Yeah. And that's how they keep the presidents in line.
But this Donald Trump changed. Remember, too, the GOP is fractionalized. They don't know what they want to do. Remember the GOP years ago was just, I was a kid, the GOP Republican was like some country club guy, some white guy, was like, taxes, nothing. Well, they weren't doing very well. Democrats were imploding. Dixiecrats took off because they didn't like all this civil rights business because they're basically racist. The Klan is Democrat. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, from the South. That's where I'm from in Florida, and I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so the Republicans said, I got an idea. Let's reach out. Hey, Strom Thurmond, come here. It's called the Southern Strategy. Listen, why don't we get together? I'm Nixon. I'm in charge of the the investigation of civil rights. Stick with us, and we might not be too, shall we say, overzealous with prosecuting these. What do you know? And then came the Tea Party guys, and then came the Libertarians, and then came others. And it's just like this dysfunctional family of people, four legs of a stool that don't really get along. Yeah. And here comes Trump. And he says, you know what? Screw all of yous because it's me. I don't need your money. I don't care. Take your endorsement.
He didn't need anyone in the end,
and
Lionel.
He beat 16 people.
Right.
The best they had. The best they had. Senators, governors, a brain surgeon, a goddamn actual brain surgeon. He beat him.
Lionel,
can I just say, I feel bad for anyone who happens
Sarah Palin,
to be
you write on your hand?
sitting next to Neil.
He's writing notes on his hand.
Anyone in the last few months who happened to be sitting next to Neil and just asked him as a stranger, what do you think about this election? And listen to this guy fire off.
Right.
You've got me more fired up about this presidency than I have been in the last 12 hours since
I
I
love
made the
this
announcement.
country, and what you're doing, Opie, and I know you don't like to be smart. I know you come and go, I'm Opie. Let me tell you something.
Smart, but I also like to kind of fool around a little bit.
This is a brilliant exercise because the news, they hit songs.
Let me ask you this, Lionel. So, because a lot of people are very concerned about a Trump presidency because the guy doesn't have any experience.
And Obama didn't scare him at all. Okay, all right.
Well, that is true too.
Obama believed in diplomacy.
That is true too. But let me ask you this: to the people that are like, "Holy shit, we're in deep trouble now that Trump is president," what do you have to say to those people?
How about? I don't know. Wait. Let's see what happens. Like maybe wait.
Just go with wait.
Just see what happens.
People are scared today, Lionel.
They should have been scared when Obama basically ripped up what was left of the Fourth Amendment. This guy imprisoned more whistleblowers than anybody. He's killed more people than any president combined. We're still in Afghanistan. Do you know why? Guess what happens to be in Afghanistan? It's the Saudi Arabia of lithium. Lo and behold, it just so happens that this terrorist hotbed happens to be the biggest site to fuel everything that moves the world. And what do you think Hillary, that Wall Street shill and warmonger, this woman, what was Libya about? Why was Libya? Why?
Crystals or something.
We're on to something, in addition to the fact he was going to do a couple of things. He was going to nationalize oil, but it just so happens that the next currency of war is going to be water, hydro-imperialism, hydrology. And what do you think Libya happens to be on top of? The Nubian Sandstone Aquifer. So when Mo Q, who, by the way, can you spell all of the names, G, Q, K, he decided it should be a sobriety test. This guy said, by the way, I'm going to pump in $25 billion into my country and make the desert arable. They said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And they pinned that stupid Lockerbie schmaltzy story on him. They took him out. And the American public, the stupidest group, barking seals, sheeple, have no idea that, he's a bad guy. Looks like Sergeant Pepper, killed his own people. Who people? I don't know. Syria Assad, bad guy. Why is he a bad guy? I don't know. It's bad. I don't know. Americans, you can tell them anything. And now all of a sudden, these people have been brain dead for the past 25 years. They're scared. I'm scared of Trump. Where have you been? I don't know. I've been chilling.
So we're gonna be just fine with a Trump presidency.
Oh, I don't know. Wait. Let's maybe see. Let's just, I don't know, call me. It's like, for example, we just hired this guy's a radio guy. How's he going to do? Why don't you let him here? Say something, and then we'll decide.
But we know about his temperament. That's the difference. We know about his temperament. We know his sensitivity and how
he flies off the handle a bit on the
Don't you remember what they did, what Reagan did, and what Nixon did? Kissinger said this. Kissinger said he went to Vietnam and actually said, now listen, I can't do what Kissinger says. You didn't hear this from me, but old Dick here, is a lunatic. He's nuts. Believe me. Really? Yeah. He's itching to do tactical nuclear weapons. They did this. And he went back, and so Nixon said, how did they do? We scared the hell out of him. Good. Reagan. Do you know that Reagan made up Star Wars? He made it up. Caspar Weinberger, if you can find this clip, Caspar Weinberger was in some place, and they said, Mr. Weinberger, yes, do you know anything about this Star Wars? He goes, what the hell are you talking about? Listen to him. They turned it off, and he made it up. They used that. So if you sat down and Trump said, listen, Opie, King Opie, President Opie, Prime Minister Opie.
Like it.
Listen, you know me. I'm a
like
straight
it a lot.
shooter. I like a good deal, a good guy, you're a good guy. All right? Yeah. Get out of wherever. This has to stop. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with somebody saying, you know what? I understand exactly what this man is saying. And wait till you see what Melania is going to do. Name the last time anybody even approximated Jackie Kennedy. Who? Mamie Eisenhower? Beth Truman? Who? They're going to people are going to love their first lady and love the White House and love the glamour and the dresses, and they're going to love this.
You don't think they're going to obsess over her old nude pictures or old porn stuff that she did?
They already threw that out there today.
Yeah.
Remember, see now this...
That was a famous tweet today. Take a look at your first lady, and it's all her old nude pictures.
This may not, by comparison, but in 1824, as I mentioned, they were talking about Andrew Jackson not being married to his wife, Rachel. Holy God. How about Grover Cleveland? The only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms.
Right.
His law partner died and left his daughter to him in a trust. She was his ward. He was a guardian. He married her.
But what percentage
It was like this. They were like, you can't do this.
He married his own daughter.
Well, well, technically, kind of. By Arkansas
Not by
standards.
blood.
No.
Not
How many Americans today would even know who Grover Cleveland was?
None.
So,
And it's sad.
yeah, so
and it's pathetic. But yet on Facebook, by the way, what is with Facebook?
You just talked about being on Facebook.
Because I got to do research. Have you ever done...
Facebook is amazing to go through.
You do stand up, you walk out there, and you walk out there and you see these crowds. You ever go back and say, who are these people? You talk to your manager, where have you booked me? You say, and we're coming back next month. Look at the paycheck. I'll be back.
Yep.
It's a laboratory.
What's wrong with Facebook, Lionel?
They're insane. These people are so insane.
Are you trying to say that people that go on Facebook with a few talking points that they see on TV and then just kind of recite it over and over again, Lionel?
Isn't it interesting that we used to only...
Who's Neil?
I'm sorry.
Call me Neil.
That's Lionel.
Lionel.
Why don't you write my name on your hand along with those notes?
These are my notes from my show last night.
Not for nothing there.
But isn't it interesting how we only heard from our best and brightest? There was a time when we only heard from our most educated. And now we know why. Because everybody has an opinion, and most people are ridiculously uneducated.
Now. Yeah, everyone has a voice, Lionel.
There also was something that where in the old days we cared about this difference. You remember this, but Walter Cronkite was God.
Yeah, he was.
And this man one time said, all right, Walter Cronkite. And I wish he could cuss. Walter Cronkite, son of a bitch. He had this voice. And what he did was he said one time, I'm going to make a little analysis on Vietnam after the Tet Offensive. Now, this is just my opinion. This is commentary. This isn't news. Okay, Walter. I'm just saying, it's my opinion. God damn it, say it. Well, I think we're losing the war. That was LBJ said, if I've lost Cronkite, I've lost Middle America. That was it. That was the end of it. Yeah. Even Bob Schieffer, did you ever see on Sunday when he writes his signature?
Yeah.
This is a commentary. Sure. Today, look at Don Lemon. The 24/7 news is a runaway train. And we've got to keep this furnace going. And we're throwing anything in there. Years ago, when they had a 1 hour, half an hour news block, 6:30, CBS, Cronkite. There was some guy who probably said, hey, listen, boss, I got this thing I want to run by you. What is it? Yeah, it's called Things in Your Bathroom That Can Kill You.
Yeah.
What do you think? Get the hell out of here. After Ted Turner came, after 24/7 News, hey, Opie, Well, you know that thing about the bathroom? Yeah,
they had
Could
to
you
fill up
stretch
the
that to a
time.
12-parter?
They had to fill
can
up
you
the
work
time.
black holes into this?
People respond. People respond
We're
to that.
still doing weather on TV. We're still
Thank you,
doing
Lionel.
weather.
Can I hug you for that?
We got this guy on CBS. Hey, it's a beautiful day tonight. Well, let's go outside. And they got the maps. I don't give a shit about the Doppler. It's 80 degrees. There's nothing is happening.
And we all know what the weather is.
Yes.
Before we leave the house.
And why do we have a thing called the time? Remember that? And now here's Opie with the time. In a minute. 6:06. Thank you very much. Weather, time.
Traffic.
How about the day of the week? Traffic at home. By the time you get in your car, it's over with. It's changed.
Yeah, if you're watching the TV, then you don't have to worry about the traffic.
Ted Baxter was my hero. Do you remember the Mary Tyler Moore Show?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Do you know why Ted Baxter was so important?
Why?
Because this was at the height. Walter Cronkite had 10 years more to go before he retired. These guys were gods.
Yeah.
So somebody there had the foresight to be pressured to the Vatic, Pythonic, to read the entrails of the beast, to say, one of these days, these guys are going to be idiots. Empty suits. Watch. And Ted Baxter came along. And lo and behold, we said, I don't know if I like this Ted Baxter. He's making fun of anchors. And they said, just wait. Just wait. And then, of course, Ron Burgundy. And that's what we have today. Mm-hmm. And then there's poor Brian Williams. What did Brian Williams do? He was the only guy who get in trouble about lying about the Iraq War, and he was just basically bullshitting.
Yeah.
It was about him. Hillary, when I got off the plane in Bosnia, the sniper fire commenced. I was running serpentine patterns. It never happened. No problem. Brian Williams, remember how they made this poor guy? They took him off the air.
Yes.
They made him wait. They relegated him at 2:00 in the morning.
I didn't even know he was back on the air. I was watching him on TV last night. I didn't realize he was back on the air. Brian Williams.
He's on MSNBC.
MSNBC,
and he's in way over his head. You saw that, right?
MSDNC. What's the #1 rated show?
Brian Williams.
What happened
They
with Brian?
put Brian Williams with Rachel Maddow,
Saw that.
who, whether you agree or disagree with her, she could talk. She could talk about the issues at hand. And Brian Williams is now the guy that just takes it to commercial.
Because Brian was a teleprompter guy.
That's all he was.
He wasn't an opinion guy.
They paid him what, Lionel, $15-20 million a year to
Brian
to be a
Williams.
good reader. And now they got him over at MSNBC, where you really got to orate and express your opinion to really talk about stuff.
And
He's
vamp.
lost.
Really?
He's lost.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Brian
I was tweeting about him
Williams.
yesterday. It's hilarious to watch because he just sits there and nods like.
No. Brian Williams sounds like he is holding the fart he said. And one day you're going to say, this just in. Oh, Jesus, I've been holding that since the Johnson administration.
Lionel with fart noises.
Are you kidding?
That's awesome.
He is so out of his league with this 24-hour cable network. He really is.
Who, me or Brian?
Brian Williams. He
And by
can't
the way-
talk about anything of substance.
And also, Rachel, who's very, very smart, has the concerned look. That look of bad... Two great looks. When she does the knitted brow, the concerned look, it's like, this is not good. My favorite, Michael Smerconish. Michael Smerconish, remember the joke? His name sounds like the sound a fat lady makes when she gets off a Naugahyde chair. Remember that? Smerconish, smart man, bald-headed guy, always looks like he's watching an autopsy for the first time. Eyes are bugged out, scared out of his mind. If you want to Google something, watch a fellow by the name of Stephen F. Cohen, professor emeritus of Russian studies, hand it to him. Break it off in him regarding Russia. And Smerconish is just dying, and he's blinking in Morse code, kind of like Jeremiah Denton. Remember the POW film? They're torturing me. He's blinking.
Yeah.
And there's Smerconish saying, go to commercial, for God's sakes. And this Russian scholar, there he is just, this to me is like intellectual porn. And Smerconish is like saying, why did you put me on? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm all veneer. Look, the people who are really good today, the people who speak the best are going to be alternative media, foreign media, and just people who just blog, somebody who can just explain things to me.
Of course.
That's it. It has changed. There's a seismic change. Yes, sir.
Let's take a break.
I'm getting started.
I know you are. And I'm loving it, trust me, but I need to breathe a little.
Lionel, you got me fired up.
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
me fired up about this presidency.
Yeah, you're hanging.
You're
I
really...
mean, Stuntbrain just hung up. He gave up on this.
He was fantastic.
I forgot about Stuntbrain.
Well, you didn't show him any respect, and he finally just hung up.
Stuntbrain hung himself.
Hanged. It depends.
No, we'll take a break. We'll continue
Sure,
with
whatever,
this. Maybe take some phone calls.
Absolutely.
When we come back, can we also ask Lionel about the list that came out of all the celebrities that said that they were leaving the country?
Sure.
Lionel will love that.
Oh, yes.
Let's go over the list and see which one definitely would actually leave the country. Okay? That's a good...
Digging it.
That's a nice little...
You heard
raise.
about
Sold that.
You heard about the Canada, the immigration website shutting down last night?
Trudeau said, I'm making it easier for you.
Yeah, all right.
Go ahead.
Lionel from LionelMedia.com. What
And
else?
Twitter, at Lionel Media.
You're entertaining as hell on Twitter.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, we go back and forth a little bit.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying this, Lionel.
We got Craig Gass, very funny comic. And I got the YouTube channel, Opie Radio. We found an old video there, Lionel, of me asking Donald Trump Jr., do you really believe your father has a shot at the presidency? I asked him that question.
Get out of here.
From day one. I said, because I looked at him like, this is a joke. There's no fucking, I mean, do you really believe your father? It was sort of that tone. Like, do you really believe your father has a chance? And, he was very nice and he answered the question.
Don't he have great kids? Is it me? They're all...
His kids are amazing. Me and Donald Trump Jr. were heading toward a friendship. And then I tapped out. We were supposed to go fly fishing and this, a bunch of things.
And Tiffany, too. Even the way Tiffany, that's our sister. Come on.
She seems a little airheady. Let's...
Oh,
a little bit.
Got out of college.
A little bit, Lionel, a little bit.
Which Trump son was engaged to the...
Donald Trump Jr. Has his shit together.
One of them was engaged to a gang member, like a former Latina...
Wow, I don't know.
Remember that story?
MS-13.
That was like 8-10 years ago. It was in all the New York newspapers that he was engaged to a woman who was like a Latino gang member.
Wow,
but you see how he reaches out? You see, he's not one of these highfalutin, like, I'm Mr. I'm Wharton, I'm Ivy League. No, I mean, his love extends to all. Gang members.
The kids are great, to answer your question.
Yes.
They're really, I mean, a lot of people out there don't want to hear this, but the Trump kids are really, really smart, and they got their shit together.
And little Barron, do you see how scared he looked? It's like, what am I? I'm a kid. And
he was also trying to stay awake during that thing.
He was just
3:30 in the morning. He kept jumping.
How old is Barron now?
He's about 12-ish.
Oh, wow.
But they had him on stage last night when Trump was talking.
Right next to his dad, and he's just constantly jumping up and down so he wouldn't fall asleep.
Was he doing a Giuliani?
I was going to say that. Andrew, thank you. Remember that?
Andrew was just going nuts. You could see Barron. He was about to fall asleep.
Well, I don't blame him. It's like really late. Does he go to school today, Lionel?
He's homeschooled.
You think he's homeschooled?
I don't know.
All right, well, let's take a break. We're going to continue with Lionel from LionelMedia.com, Lionel Media on Twitter, Craig Gass, and maybe your phone call. Stay there.